Hickok 45 here with a big old in-frame revolver. Think we ought to shoot it? Hey, you think we ought to smoke a little pot? We did. Hit a stop sign. Ought to be empty. It is. Yeah, even though it's a big old in-frame, this holds 6 rounds. I wonder why. We're going to tell you. Wow. All right. This is a pre-model 28. For those of you who read the title, yep, that's what it is. So I guess it's not a model 28, is it? It's a pre-model 28. Now, how could that be? Some of you already know. Almost, well, not all Smiths, but a great number of Smith & Wessons that came out in the, well, before the mid-50s, around 57, 58. They're kind of all pre-model something because they didn't give the model numbers, designated model numbers, until 57 or 58, I think. It may vary with models and different guns. They started putting model numbers on them, like model 29, model 18, model 48 rather. Model 28, how about 28? I'll get it right in a minute. You had a model 27, which started out as being just called the Registered Magnum. Came out in 1935. And so it didn't really become, and this is one, the Model 27 until, you know, the late 50s when they started giving them numbers, okay? And same with this one, all right? So, and that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to compare a little bit the Smith lineup and where this one fits. What is a Model 28 or a pre-28? They're the same thing. This one's just a little older. It's a very early, it came out in about 54. So I think that was the first year of the Model 28. And it was made through 86, but you know, it was pretty soon after this one came out. It was called the Model 28, and you see there's no 28 under there. It's not a Model 28, it's a pre-Model 28, right? Yeah, like I just told you. If it had been made in 1960, it would have a Model 28, you know, on the crane. So where does that fit? Well, in a nutshell, the Model 28 is just kind of a plain Jane version of the Model 27. And I'm going to give you a little comparison of some of the earlier guns here. But when these came out, the first 357 Magnum basically is kind of what you're looking at, really with both of these. And the original in 1935, they called it the Registered Magnum when it came out. The cartridge, this gun, you know, a beautiful firearm, and it still is. This one was made in the 70s, still beautiful. Nice finish, polished, and all of that. Target hammer, target trigger on this one. The difference is, this one's called the Highway Patrolman. You know how I know? It says right on the barrel. Look at that. That's the only way I knew it. Yeah, Highway Patrolman. 357 Magnum. So, Smith, well, actually, I think the police departments asked for it. They went to Smith, as I understand. They said, look, 357 was big at the time. I mean, it still is. That was a great cartridge. And I think in the late 40s and early 50s, Smith was the only one making a 357 Magnum. And it was this big, beautiful gun. And you know, if you're in police work and you're packing a revolver day in and day out in the holster and getting dirty and cobwebs and whatever, sometimes police are the worst for taking care of their firearms. Some of them are very good and they're very proficient and they're real, you know, shooters, gun people, compete and everything else. But then a lot of them, it's just a tool, it's a hammer, and it's they don't take as good a care of it as they should and all that sort of thing. So they really need a beautifully finished, polished, you know, revolver, okay? And so Smith came up with the Highway Patrolman. They even named it, right, so that it might help sales. And you notice the difference in the top strap? See, on the right is the 27, the fancy one, okay? These are both the same gun, okay? Just difference in barrel length. And the finish, okay? So the one on the right is the 27, that's the pretty one, okay? One on the left, you see they didn't just bead blasted it up there, and the finish is not as shiny. They didn't polish it as much, and now the stag grips are added later. They had the same grips, I think, as this one over here. This one happened to have stag grips. I bought this a few months ago, And was glad to find it with the Stag grips. Those are expensive and hard to find. So that's kind of what the Patrolman is. It was kind of a plain Jane version, a working person, just a firearm that it wasn't as pretty, but one meant to be used. So let's shoot some Magnums in it. You want to? Ship it to you. So 357 Magnum, that's what this is. That's what both of them are. And it's hard for, I know a lot of people, if you're younger especially, to imagine a time when, man, this was kind of state of the art, you know, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, a big old 357 Magnum. Just a wonderful firearm, very powerful, basically the most powerful handgun at the time. And these big old end frames, if you've ever held one or fired one, you know, they're just great guns. I'll shoot the Cowboy and show you. See? Woo, get those ears in tight. Get that Tombstone. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. I'm still working on getting the sights aligned the way I want them. Let me try the gong. All right, heard that sound. Let's try the Buffalo. All right, I think I got them adjusted just before, well, I got into the round. Just before the video, I went in and raised the rear sight a little bit. Yeah, I was shooting a little bit low for what I like. Let's try the gong again. Yeah, I like that. Take a little bit more of a 6 o'clock hold with the Magnums. Sometimes the Magnums print a little bit differently than the 38 Special. So, yeah, that's, you know, these are pretty warm. It's just range ammo, 357, you know, American Eagle. But that stuff, as you know, if you've ever fired any of it, it's no slouch. It's not 38 Special by any stretch. And these big old end frames handle it just really well. They really do. So, like I say, the 27 was that was the gun to have when it came out. 357 Magnum. The first Magnum, really, and unless you're talking about wine, maybe. And you know, just a very desirable firearm, very powerful. And again, this is back when, the reason I have these other firearms out here, these things seem huge to the average person, and they are big. You know, this was a 38 Special, Model 10. It came out at the turn of the century, you know, 1899, right, or 98 long in there. And, you know, that size gun. And then this is Smith & Wesson. This is the 1917, used in World War I and II, you know, 45 ACP. But this was very common. If you're going to have a big caliber revolver, a powerful revolver, it was going to be big, like this, okay? You know, it couldn't be little like that, a K-frame. It was big. And so this was the frame of reference, you know, at the time. So when they chambered it and came up with a 357 Magnum, it's going to be a big old revolver like this. It's just that simple. You know, the Colts the same way. The new service revolvers and everything were big. And so that was just the frame of reference. You need a big revolver. Plus the steels maybe weren't quite as good as they are now. And you got a powerful round. You need a big gun to handle recoil, as well as dampen recoil, as well as to, you know, not blow up on you. And it wasn't until, I'll jump ahead a little bit, it wasn't until later, you know, Bill Jordan wanted a smaller 357, and they were able to come up with a combat Magnum like this, the Model 19, which is a K-frame, and actually chambered in 357 Magnum. So that was a new thing. And that was, when was that? The 50s? I think it was. I should know that. And so this actually feels better. It's lighter in a holster, and became a very, very popular all-around firearm, police firearm. It was probably carried by more highway patrolmen, state police, than even this, you know, when you get right down to it through the years since then. So very, very nice. K-frames are hard to beat. Yeah, they are. These are both K-frame revolvers, you know, over here, and one's 357, one's 38. But so anyway, it was just going to be big. So we went from these big old 357 Magnums to that K-frame in your Model 19, Model 66, and stainless, and now. And in fact, I was going to bring one out. I couldn't put my hands on. I think I was going to dig out the Kimber, you know, the 6-shot 357 Magnum. not a whole lot bigger than a J frame, you know, and yeah, so we have come to a point where we can create and manufacture a powerful 357 Magnum revolver, pretty small package. That's what makes these almost laughable, you know, except that from the historical standpoint, the fun factor, they're fun to shoot, and as we all know that shoot it all, if you have a heavier revolver, yeah, it's heavier, that's the bad news, and the good news is it's heavier. And it's easier to shoot well and fun to shoot, right? No, not the recoil you get. I guess I won't shoot the 27. It's even a little bit heavier, right? How do I know? It has a longer barrel. Not much difference, not much difference. And those things are made in 3/8 inches and all that kind of thing. These, I think, came out in mostly the standard, like 6-inch, 4-inch. I don't know if they ever made a 28 and 8 3/8 inch, a really long barrel. They might have. That wouldn't have really been like a highway patrolman, though, I don't think, revolver. So anyway, there's a market. There's no real difference in function of these revolvers. That's the big thing. This 28, I'm going to call it a 28, even though this is pre-28 came out. No difference, again, between this one and one that was made 5 years later and labeled Model 28. But no real difference. Maybe a higher quality sight. You got a little bit different sight on this one. And again, the finish is just a little rougher. But, you know, the same grips came on them. Again, don't be misled by my Stag grips. Generally speaking, the Stag grips would be the more desirable, the more expensive firearm, right? Just because of the Stag, but they just were on there when I found it and bought it. But so let me shoot it again. I'll shoot some more 38s. Just a lot of fun to shoot these things. They really are. And again, it's kind of cool. A lot. I looked it up, believe it or not, and there were a list of at least 8 or 10 different states where the state police carried Model 28, and as you can imagine. And again, we kind of looked at what police agencies oftentimes have carried, and we just through the years we have a little different now. You know, everybody's got an M&P or a Glock or a SIG, and we're all familiar with all that kind of thing, but not a lot of difference maybe. But through the years and the decades, it was kind of important, as I mentioned before in the video, that if the California Highway Patrol carried something, or the LA Police Department, or the New York Police Department, the Texas Rangers, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Border Patrol, agencies that had a lot of, activity or, whatever else, were involved in, FBI, Navy SEALs, not police, but just agencies, operators of some sort that really rely on their firearm and might really need it. They go to where the trouble is, and then what they carry and what they find useful and effective, what they come to the decision to adopt, people pay attention to that and always have, okay? You might not, but a lot of people do. All right, what did I put in there? It says on it, 38 Special. Isn't that a pretty sight? Stag handle, Stag grips, loaded chambers. Wow. All right. I'm sorry. I just think they're cute. I can't help it. I have targets that have not been shot. Oh man, that was dramatic. Oh boy, I think I got the sights right on. Yeah. I think the windage was all right. You would expect the windage to be all right. It's been around a while. What do I want to shoot? What about that turkey up there on the top row? All right, I'll let him fall. Let me try that red square plate. Bong, I heard it hit. Oh, I got another round. There I go. Let's hit the gong. Yeah, I got the sights where I want them. I got a little white paint on there. Now, I'm not sure. Well, I am sure. Highway Patrol did not put that white paint on there. They might have done that with theirs. Fingernail polish or something. It's what I've always done. Put something on there if I need it. But yeah, I did that, just so you know. And I think I've got the sights where I want them. And this firearm would shoot just as well for me as this 27, even though it's prettier and more valuable, I guess. I don't know, with the Stag grips, this one it might be more valuable, but it's pretty neat. And I had one of these just before you all started showing up. Okay, really, when you all started showing up, what, 12, 13 years ago, whenever, however long it's been. Just before you all began showing up, I bought one of these from a friend of mine and shot it some, and I traded it for something, not sure why. And I've always regretted it. We got one from Simpsons Limited, remember? You probably saw it in a Sunday shoot-around. You probably saw this one in a Sunday shoot-around. But this was several months back, and I had the pin was out of the barrel. I got a pin, replaced it, ready to do video, and then discovered the chambers. One of them, or a couple of them, had been swelled a little bit. Someone had, I don't know, double charged or something, and so sent it back. But anyway, you know, they lent us one to do a video with, and we just, it was funny because I did some more research, and I was all excited to do a video on a Model 28. It was also, I think, a pre-28, and never did get to do it, you know. And man, and I found this one later, just ran across it, and yeah, here we go. So I'm in the 28 business. I'm not gonna let this one go, okay? I'm not gonna make that mistake again. I'll shoot it again here. Let me see, anything else I didn't tell you about the 28? Again, 54, you know, the highway patrolman. A lot of people just refer to them as the highway patrolman. They don't even, you know, think of them as a Model 28, just a highway patrolman. Smith & Wesson, you know, 357 Magnum, end frame, you know, and again, there's a difference on that side. You just have a prettier gun. And the 27, just historically, is just a really beautiful gun. It's kind of the Smith counterpart to the Python, I guess. Some people prefer this over the Python. They think it's cooler and all that. I'm not sure which one I like better. If I had to choose to own just one of the other, I really like that Python ribbed barrel. I think it's so cool, but I think I probably shoot these better and they feel better to me. All right, I'll shoot maybe one more time. Big old beefy gun. Got the serial number on the cylinder. I guess we ought to finish up with Magnums. That was one of the advantages of these. If you're going to shoot a lot of 357 Magnum in a revolver, you might think about one of these. I mean a lot. A real steady diet, a lot of hot rounds. Maybe you load your own really hot rounds. You might want an end frame if you're going with Smith. You know, Ruger makes a bunch of them too. Everybody else, Taurus. Rather than the 19. Although I had a 19, I just shot the heck out of for years. I never had any trouble with it. But these are beefier. The forcing cone, I've shown you all that before, I think, but let me show you again. Some of your slow learners, right? So I need to keep showing you the same thing over and over. This is the 27, but it's the same gun, as I've been telling you. You see the forcing cone, that's the back of the barrel, okay? On my left hand, you have the 19. My right hand, the 27, the end frame. You see the difference in the thickness of those forcing cones, as it's called, the rear of the barrel in there. It's just thinner, right? A lot more meat in that end frame. And so if you're really blasting, that takes a lot of power right there as the bullet's going into that. So it takes a lot of force. You know, those have been known to crack. Right? I don't think I've had it happen, but they have been known to crack. So anyway, if you're going to shoot a ton of hot rounds, you know, a good old end frame is hard to. And I'll bet you these will knock the limbs around if I can hit one. Yeah, you saw that, didn't you? It didn't take a lot of time. How about a bowling pin? Pops in pretty well too. Oh, we have a 2-liter over here we have not addressed. Let's just take him out. Let's magnemize him. And I probably have 2 left. I haven't been counting, I confess. Let's put one on the gong. No, let's put one on that ram, if I can. Oh, how'd I miss? Did I go low? Okay, I can't quit on a miss. Let me put a couple more in real quick, then I'll let you go. Really do appreciate y'all coming out, you know, and enjoying these vintage firearms with us. I really do. And I know many of you just like these as much as you like them as much as I do. All right, ram with 6 shots. Surely I can hit you with one of them. Yeah, I thought so. Where am I going? There we go. All right. Got one left. I'm going to put it on something right here. That's bowling pin. Thought he was going to survive. Just to make sure I don't quit on a miss, right? So, revolver fun. You know the lecture I always give you. If you don't have a revolver, what's wrong with you? I really want to know. What's wrong with you? No, it's understandable if you don't have a revolver. It's not understandable if you do not have one and you're not working on a plan to acquire one at some point in the future. All right, that's the real sin. Okay, so make sure you're not guilty of that. Now, I'm glad you came out. We enjoy having you along with us and hearing the noise and everything, and appreciate your support, really do. Life is good.
Tired. It's a long walk from where I had to shoot that. Oh man. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. Since you're here, I want to let you know about our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. TalonGunGrips.com. Check out everything they have over there. You can get lots of different grips, the stick-on grip textures for your handguns and rifle grips, so go check them out. Also Ballistol, they're a firearms lubricant or anything else you might need lubricating. It's water soluble and non-toxic. Been using it on the compound and cleaning all of our guns. It's a cleaner and a lube for over 10 years. So Ballistol, Talon Grips, definitely check both of those companies out. And also, while you're on the internet, don't forget to go to hickok45.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Hickok45, Twitter, Hickok45, Instagram, The Real Hickok45, and also I have an Instagram page where I post behind the scenes stuff and different things like that. John, JOHN_HICKOK45 on Instagram. And the next thing you have to do is watch more videos.